And today we're going to talk about the 100% non-negotiable protection that all business owners need and that very, very, very few have. Almost nobody has. And if they have it, they don't have it in adequate limits. If you die and if you have a family, chances are your spouse cannot run the business. Like my wife, she wouldn't know anything about how to run the businesses. They'd be useless. They'd immediately have to close up. Everybody would lose their jobs. All that kind of stuff, right? Welcome to the Profit Lifestyle for Fitness Entrepreneurs podcast. My name is Scott Carpenter. I am a personal trainer turned multiple gym owner and investor who's already been through the rock bottom and near bankruptcy in the fitness business. But I've been lucky enough to come out the other side and have turned the profits of my fitness business into indestructible wealth. I'll be sharing the no bullshit strategies, tactics, and advice to win big in business and in life. So if you're a gym owner, a personal trainer, or an online coach who wants to make multiple six figures in take-home profit and have the freedom with your time to actually enjoy it, subscribe now to this podcast. This is the show for you. All right, welcome back to the Profit Lifestyle for Fitness Entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Scott Carpenter. Andy Boimila with me as well. And today we're going to talk about the 100% non-negotiable protection that all business owners need and that very, very, very few have. Almost nobody has. And if they have it, they don't have it in adequate limits. And this is something very near and dear to me because I've experienced this kind of stuff before. I've known a lot of people, but what I'm talking about is term life insurance. Almost everybody knows what it is. It's something that's very cheap, and you get term life insurance on yourself, on a business partner, on a family member, whatever it is. And if you die, it pays out money, right? And so the reason why it's so important if you're a business owner. So if you have a family, chances are your spouse cannot run the business, or at least it will be harmed a lot if you died, right?
Right.
Like my wife, she wouldn't know anything about how to run the businesses. They'd be useless. They'd immediately have to close up. Everybody would lose their jobs, all that kind of stuff, right?
And on my end, like I run my business with my wife.
Mm-hmm.
So while she could run the business without me, it would be a great detriment to her and to our family.
Yeah. Yep.
And so we're going to be talking about something today that a lot of people might even scoff at first. You know, like, why would I even need that? Like, that seems so stupid to pay into every single month or whatever. But realistically, it's super important because what if?
Oh my God. And that what if happens. We all just dismiss these things, right? And it's like, oh, it won't happen to me or blah, blah, blah. What are the chances? And yeah, they're low, but guess what? I mean, the last several years, I've known 4 gym owners that have died. 4. And what is the first thing? You guys know this. And how many people do you know? Because I'm 43, right? And I don't know what it is, but like every time I get on Facebook, I mean, you've seen it. You've seen whether it's somebody you went to high school with, or it's somebody within a network, or it's a friend of a friend. You see it all the time. And what's the first thing that happens? A GoFundMe goes up.
Yep.
Right? To help and assist with funeral costs and everything else, right? And here's the thing though, guys, especially if you've got a family and a wife or a husband and kids, how far, let's see, you raise $82,000 in a GoFundMe. How far does that go? When one of those spouses, their income totally goes away, or the business, or like in the case, my wife doesn't work, but she cares for the kids. I'm going to have to hire a full-time nanny. How much does that cost every year? Like, how far is that money going? And then the kids, how much is that going to affect their lives in a big way? You have 2 incomes down to 1, or you have 1. Now you all like, how's that going to, okay, well, there goes all the college money if you're doing that or whatever it is. But it puts serious financial strain on families when they're the most vulnerable, absolute most vulnerable.
Let's take a look at the numbers real quick. We'll even use, let's say $100,000 is generated in a GoFundMe, right? Pretty easy math. Without a life insurance policy, without some type of backup plan, that $100,000 needs to cover funeral costs.
They're expensive.
Very. As someone who lost their dad almost a year ago to the day at this point, actually, it's about a week away, right, from when I lost my dad. I know how much they cost, like tens of thousands of dollars for services, funerals, flowers, caskets, what may you, right? Burial plots, tombstone, all of it. It all costs money. So even on the low end, I'll just use $10,000 as an example. Out of that $100,000 that was generated in a GoFundMe, you got 90,000 left. I can wager that for a lot of people, if you look at the median average household income, 90,000, or even just looking at your friends, how many of them make more than $90,000 in a year, right? In their salaries or whatever. Okay, cool. So you've got someone who just passed away that was generating income for your family, you, right? Like if you were to pass away, you own the business that was generating income, you were providing that income. It's not there anymore because without you, the business may have to close. Where is that money going to come from now? $90,000 in today's economy doesn't get you very far.
Nope.
And that's the harsh truth, right? Like that is the sad truth of the world that we live in and the circumstances of what happened.
Yeah.
And people are sitting there going, well, it's not going to happen to me. I'm healthy. We know someone who just passed away very recently.
Yep.
And I would wager to bet they consider themselves a very healthy person.
Oh, and they were very healthy. Former gym owner. He lives here in Arizona, not far from me. We had him on our podcast just like 5 weeks ago, guys. He was a guest on our podcast about 5 weeks ago.
Yep.
And we just talked. That was we recorded on a Wednesday. We talked on a Thursday. And then the next day, that was it.
Yep.
Completely healthy, 40 years old, former gym owner. And I mean, flukes, guys, anybody can have a random blood clot.
Yeah.
This can happen to anybody. It can be an auto accident, whatever it is. But here's the thing, guys. He's also got 3 young kids with a 4th on the way. Imagine, like, I don't know. I didn't know if he had a policy. I don't know on that. But can you imagine the strain on his wife and the kids for something like that? Yeah. And for decades, that's going to be there, right? I mean, raising 4 children, right? And wow, I mean, it's unbelievable. It's so important. And so even if you don't have a family, if you're young and healthy, you should get your life insurance now because anything can happen. And so even if you don't have a family, guys, if you have a business partner, you need to get it on each other too. So it's not just for your family to protect themselves, right? But you need to be able to get it on a business partner. Because if you're 50-50 in responsibilities or duties or 80-20 or whatever it is, doesn't really matter. If that business partner dies, you're going to have to hire. First of all, the business is going to take a hit on revenue, guaranteed, big time, okay? Then you're also going to have to hire to replace that person's function, right? And you're going to have to pay out their heirs. If they're 50-50 ownership and the business has a valuation of $400,000, well, you're going to have to pay out $200,000 to that spouse. And usually we don't have that. Quite often in operating agreements, it's written that it's paid out in 36 monthly installments. It can be different on your operating agreement, right? But that's a lot of cash going out. Yep. That's over 60 grand a year while the business is going to take a shit, while you've got to hire somebody to replace your partner. And so you really want it there. You want it on any kind of a buy-sell if there's seller financing. Like, you've got to protect each other because this stuff happens all the time. Who we were just talking about, he was a partner with 2 other people in the business. Yep. So it affects his business partners, and it affects, obviously, his wife and his 3 kids with the new one that was coming on the way. And guys, this stuff happens. And you need a proper term life insurance. It's great if you can get a whole. We'll touch on that, like whole life and infinite banking and how you can actually use that to grow money tax-free too. That'll be a topic for another podcast. But here's what's important about term. So you kind of want it to replace your lifetime income. Term is very cheap though. $1 million that gets paid. And when you get, if it pays out, in the event of a death, it's all non-taxable too. So if it's for $1 million, $1 million actually goes into the bank account. And $1 million might only be $35 a month. It depends on a lot of factors: age, sex. It depends on, your current health as it is right now.
Which is why it's super important to get it sooner rather than later.
Yes. Even if you don't have a business partner, even if you don't have a family that you need to provide for.
Because those things may change down the road, and then at least you already have your policy set up.
Yep.
And the younger you are, the healthier you are, the more payout you can get for the less money per month.
Yep. And you get qualified. Now, it's very important to get it when you can get it. And let me show you exactly why. And also, there's regular term policies, but then there's also something called convertible. Because term policies are only good for like a period of 10 or 20 or 30 years. The problem is, as we get older, we still need some of that. It gets prohibitively expensive, which is why whole life policies are really important. That being said, let's keep this one basic for today. And I have a business partner who we're 75-25. He bought in my business. He's an amazing person, super healthy, 2-3 years younger than me, I believe. And extremely healthy. And because we got it on each other, right? Obviously, if I die, he gets my equity and pays out my estate with that, right? My wife and kids get paid on that, and vice versa. And so we got it on each other, and I opted to get convertible, which is an option. It might cost you 10% more. So we're talking for the one I got on him, like $25-$30 a year more. Nothing, okay? But what it does is it guarantees me the right that I can turn that into a permanent whole life policy. And it's worth it in almost all cases to get that, because he had a fluke medical thing. There was a chance he thought he might have died. And we don't know why. It could be from vaccine injury is actually like the thing that's we can't prove it. We don't know, but he's been to every single thing. He developed pericarditis and swelling around the heart. And it's actually the sac around the heart and stuff. He's been laid up in and out of hospitals for weeks on and off. Thankfully, he's at like world-renowned one, which he knew some doctors that pulled some strings to get him in, and he's on an experimental drug, and it looks like everything's under control now. But it was really scary for a while, and nothing they could do. And with that on his health history report right now, I would highly doubt there's any life insurance company that would insure him right now.
No, I don't think so.
It would not be possible.
Nope.
So thankfully, we got it done before. Thankfully, we turned it in convertible, because even though he developed this condition and is no longer insurable in the future, I can turn this into a permanent policy at his health rating when we got it. Mm-hmm. And so me personally, my personal experience seeing all these things, I haven't died yet, thankfully, but like I've known others who have. And in this case, he'd be totally uninsurable. There's a chance he could have. So thankfully, I convinced him to get a whole life policy on himself before, thank God, which is an amazing thing for his retirement planning and income, everything. Thank God he got that done, because there's no way in hell he could get it now.
No. And over the last, I would say 2 years, and I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older, might be, and I don't know. Either way, the things that have happened within my life within the last 2 years have shown me that you never know. There is no guarantees in this life. And that's an unfortunate thing to think about, but it's really important, especially as a business owner, where other people rely on you to have a backup plan, because you don't know. And it's one of those things where I know the joke is like, you always want to get insurance before you need it. Well, that is 100% true, because when it comes to like term life insurance, when you need it, you will not be able to get it.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And I am so big on this. And again, we're talking about term for just protection. But when we look at whole life and infinite banking, there's ways that you can get this protection for a lifetime. Okay. But you can also overfund it and use it to earn around 6% returns on that extra cash you put in there, which is tax-free, which is massive, because that's like well over 7% return.
Yep.
Guaranteed nearly. And even if the market's down 20%, you're still going to be up. And it's going to be non-taxable income and growth for the rest of your life. And it's still liquid. Unlike an IRA or a 401k, you can use that money to buy assets or grow your business. That's called like infinite banking. I've taught that in different ways. We'll do another podcast really breaking that down. But I throw in so much of my money in that. Okay. And then when I find the piece of real estate I want to buy or acquire a business or start a new one up, I use that same money to do it. And it's all protected. Right now I've got, I don't know, $6, $7, $8 million worth of life insurance on myself. Right. And so if something happens to me, God forbid, before my work is done in business and other passive income and investments, no matter what, I could die tomorrow. My family will never have to worry about money ever again.
Right. And that's the thing is like, we're not sitting here, like we're sitting here and the money that our gym's making, whatever, is a decent amount. We are set up well, but I still have a life insurance policy on me. I have a life insurance policy, a term life insurance policy on my wife, because you never know what could happen.
Yep.
And the peace of mind where I can sit here and say, God forbid something were to happen, we would be financially okay. And that's one less thing that I have to think and one last thing I have to worry about.
Yeah.
And that's the important part. As gym owners, as business owners, as husbands and wives and significant others and everything else that we do, we have so many things to worry about. But the peace of mind of sitting here and going, should something, God forbid, happen, we would be financially okay because of our term life insurance policies. It just puts a little bit more peace of mind, which is
absolutely
a nice thing to have.
Yeah. I mean, my wife hasn't been in the workforce in 10 years. My kids are 9 and 5. Like, how big of a struggle if I run a GoFundMe and this and that, and yes, I'm building my assets, right? I've got real estate. I've got, my infinite banking policy is growing, but like, wow. I mean, they're going to need extra money to get through the next however many years of raising the kids and all that. And how is my wife going to generate income? I mean, she can get a job, but it's not going to be a high paying job after being out of the workforce for 9 years and not having a high paying job before that.
And then how's it also going to affect your kids' lives who
exactly
your wife has been there all day, every day for the last, however many years. Now it's a drastic change that affects everybody.
Yep. And you know what? My business partners, I die. Yep. It's no big deal. They don't have to worry about losing me and the value I bring and then paying my family out for my equity. No, it's taken care of with a little bit extra. So they can move on and hire somebody and weather a storm and all that kind of stuff. Everybody's going to be better off. I guess I shouldn't say everybody's going to be better off if I die, but they're going to be protected and okay, right? So anyways, guys, this is super important. And a lot of us might have some small life insurance policy for like 70, 80 grand. It's not going to cut it. It'll cover your funeral costs, right? Yeah. But you need more. And this stuff is cheap, but term convertible. And then if now's the right time for you to do a whole life policy, you want to do a whole life one. And I am such a big believer in this stuff. And I teach how to use that and use it also for investments and create passive income. So you never have to worry about money later on. You never have to worry about money if you die before you get all that completed in your lifetime. And it's super important. And so if you want me to dive into the current insurance you have or don't have, what is the amount that you should be getting? What kind should you get? Term, convertible, whole, all that, infinite banking. I'm absolutely willing to help you out with that. And in the show notes, we'll leave my email. You can always get me at scott@theprofitlifestyle.com. But I also leave a link where you can book a call with me and we can go over your life insurance as well. Whether you have it, and it's like, and some people are they're being overcharged on it too. I mean, I see that a lot. And some of it, they got term 10 years ago, but it was only a 10-year term. And there's a lot of factors, but I'll take a look and like, do you have adequate coverage for your income? Right? Is it a good rate? Is convertible necessary? Do you have a business partner? Do we need to get key man insurance or something on your business partners or whatever it is? Or on your spouse? Do we need to get one on your spouse? Because if your spouse also works and he or she dies, you could have your income cut in half too, right? Yep. And you have 2 kids. So There's a lot of variables, but I'm happy to run through it. So we'll leave the link in the show notes, but you can always email me if you got questions as well. Scott@theprofitlifestyle.com. We can take a look, make sure you are protected for the biggest risk that you, your partners, and your family have. That's all I got. Cover everything?
Yeah, we just wanted to keep this one simple and basically just come out and be like, look, buy term life insurance. Not super expensive. And if you set up the right way, it's one last thing you have to worry about. God forbid something were to happen.
Yep.
Because if I've learned nothing over the last couple of years, through all my experiences, you never know, and nothing is a certainty. So get it now, because when you need it, you won't be able to. And there's really other than a very short amount of money every single month, there's really no reason not to.
Yeah. You won't even miss it. You won't even notice it. Right.
I mean, basically you could not get Starbucks twice a month, and I'm pretty sure you could cover it.
You can guarantee to live the world a better place. Right.
And 2 less Starbucks a month probably would be better off for you anyway.
True. Very true. So yeah, guys, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm here. And I'll make sure, some agents don't write they take more commission, and they take a lot of commission and they up the rates and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you're getting a good rate, all that kind of stuff. Happy to run an analysis with you. But that's it, guys. Thank you for tuning in for this somber episode, but really appreciate it. This is something everybody's got to have. And I will see you next week on the next episode. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. Listen, if you're stuck and could use some advice in your business, whether you're just starting out, a veteran in the business, or expanding online or into multiple locations, you can hop on a free call with us to pick our brains at ptlegends.com/one-on-one call. You can see that in the show notes. That is with numbers. Chances are we'll be able to help you get some clarity on what you need to do specifically in your business to get to the next level. It's not a sales call. We'll connect you with the right resources to help you solve your problems. But if you want to learn more about working with us, that's cool too. We can share that information should you want it. So book your call now to get out of the rat race before your week consumes you, which is easy to do at ptlegends.com/one-on-one call. That's with the number 1 on the number 1 call. You can find this in the show notes. See you soon.